This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
Ladies and gentlemen, RosterWatch Nation, welcome back to the Epic RosterWatch podcast, brought to you by RosterWatch.com. My name is Alex Dunlap here with the Trashman and Cody Carpentier for the Week 4 Waiver Wire edition of the show. Guys, not the best waiver wire this week, but some definite interesting. I think you can make some moves on the waiver wire this week whenever your league mates might not see anything that's a super, super shiny new toy. Cody, what do you think, brother?
I think it's an interesting week. Like you said, there's not really a ton there. People are probably going to bite in on the Jauan Jennings thing for sure after a big 3-touchdown performance, career high. But yeah, nothing really stands out to me other than maybe the Roschon, Bucky, Irving type of thing, but that's about it.
Trashman, I mean, the way I feel about the Jauan Jennings thing is it would be you feel kind of silly spending up a whole lot of money on a guy that we have a pretty big sample size, knowing what he is in that offense whenever everybody's healthy, and we know that's not going to, they could be getting one piece of this back. I think as soon as they get one back between Kittle and Deebo Samuel, it's just. I don't think it's to the dustbin with this guy, but just if you're counting on 175 yards and 3 touchdowns ever again from Jauan Jennings, I think you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, but there might be some 0-3 teams out there who have to win this week, and so someone like a Jennings could be that X factor for them potentially.
You can't go over 20% of your budget, though, right?
No.
Cody, what do you do with Jennings? Like, are you even putting in bids for Jennings?
Probably not, because I mean, the way we drafted this year using the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet, we got a pretty healthy crop of receivers, including some guys that have gone nuclear the first couple of weeks. So probably not. I like Jennings. I liked him 7 years ago when he came out, but it was like he was never going to be this number one guy for a long term. Like, he's perfect fill in. He's a perfect number 3 for any offense. That's why you've seen him can operate as a number 3 in this offense for 4 or 5 years now. So I just think that's what he is. And when Ayuk decides to pull his head out of his rear end, he's going to be the alpha, and the target's going to go back to him, and Kittle's going to get healthy.
It just looks so bad, man. What is wrong with Ayuk? It's just that he even said it before. He's like, man, like, we watched the film and I look bad. I mean, it's just
he needed the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got to think he'll be rounding back into form soon.
Sometime.
Right? Yeah.
But
is there any reporting yet about whether Kittle's have you seen anything today about Kittle? It feels like he's farther off than or he's not as far off as Deebo. And we know about Christian McCaffrey now having to go overseas for his, I'm assuming the stem cell treatments.
Yeah, he's going to get that good. He'll be back. But I mean, Kittle's one. I mean, it's soft tissue, of course, but I wouldn't. Kittle's one that I wait till Friday. I mean, I wouldn't really comment on it until Friday, because he's one of those guys that's a little bit different breed to worry about.
So Braelon Allen is still out there, and I looked it up, or I don't remember what it was, but it was a threshold to where he was like, it was under 50.
I think around the 30. I think he's around the 70s or 60s, mid to high 60s available still.
Percent available. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we told you last week you can spend 15 to 20% of your budget if you use the cheat sheet last week on Braelon Allen. Apparently not too many people took us up on that idea because he's known usually people fall off the cheat sheet, right? He's still out there. He's still available. And all the reasons that we talked about last week are still good reasons to go get Braelon Allen. If you guys have questions about guys who are go John and Cedar Park is Mr. Play the Song from our continuation league.
I just smoked him this week, beat him by 100.
Dude, I can't believe that league. I went up against Jauan Jennings, and I ended up losing by 0.06 points, even after Jaden Daniels goes nuclear. I'm so glad that so many of these teams have the rookie duo of Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, man. Gosh, you love to see it. I'm glad that panned out for us. Or it's panned out for us so far. Knock on wood. We'll answer that one here at the end, John. I'm wondering, man. I'm thinking to myself, do I just want to go pick up Roschon this week while everybody else is sleeping? Like,
I mean, I personally would rather have Irving, but
why?
Why? Yeah.
Because it already looks like the tide is changing for him, and there aren't 3 other running backs who could potentially get run in that offense.
I mean, look, it's a good. It's been good for Bucky Irving, but he's still only playing just over 30% of the snaps.
And he's been performing better than White with those snaps.
And on those snaps, he's actually gotten more touches. So Rachaad White in there on 74% of snaps. Bucky Irving was actually 32 this last week. But 11 touches, 6 targets and 11 total touches for Rachaad White, 3 targets, 12 total touches for Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, 84 total scoreless yards to Rachaad White's total, 35 total scoreless yards.
This White thing is.
It was a terrible idea to go zero RB and build around Rachaad White as your RB1 that I heard a bunch of people talking about this offseason.
Well, I never said to do that, but I definitely was, in favor of drafting White. I mean, from what we saw at the training camp, it was pretty clear what he was and what Bucky was. Like, it was pretty clear that they wanted to feature White, but the efficiency has been abysmal. And I don't know. Like, Canales obviously was the coordinator there last year. He's now in Carolina, so it's a change of guard. I don't know if it's a thing that's going to take a few more weeks, but this is bad.
Do you want to see a blistering take in the chat? As a Niners fan, it's my belief that he's the best wide receiver and better route runner and best route runner on the team. Jauan Jennings.
Well, that's definitely what he's not. He's not the best route runner. I'll tell you that right now.
That's not true. I think that's not a Niner fan. I think he's a Niner fan now because he just blew 80% of his fab budget on Jauan Jennings. So he's going to tune into all the Niners games from now on, maybe. Okay. I disagree. I disagree with that for sure. The reason I'm into Roschon, I'm just like, at first I thought to myself, how much can it really matter that Travis Homer has gone on IR, right? Like, is this really a needle moving thing for anybody within this running back group? That's kind of what I thought.
I told you when I went to camp that Homer was getting a lot of those snaps, and him getting out, it got Roschon that action.
Travis Homer has had a total over his first 2 games of like one. It's like 1 point. He's got 1 game with 1 touch and 1 game with 2 touches. It's not the same role that Roschon's playing, because when Roschon got in there, it's still only 37% of snaps. But whenever he got in there on that same, Travis Homer in his highest snap percentage week, 29% of snaps week 2.
I mean, he was still on some of those passing downs though, even if he wasn't necessarily getting touches.
Well, right. But whenever Roschon's in there, did Travis Homer even have a target this season? He didn't have a target in week 2. Let me look at week 1. And he did not have a target in week 1. He's gotten 1 carry and 2 carries, and that's what he got before he got put on IR. And then Roschon Johnson gets in there, and again, he only plays 37% of snaps. I get it. And there's still technically a Khalil Herbert thing to worry about there with him, but I just don't like. It's Khalil Herbert. I don't understand what's even happened with the whole career of this player and the way that he gets. It's like there was a time when it looked like he was actually going to be good whenever he got a chance to kind of, run on his own with this thing. And then it's like,
I mean, and he has been in stints, and that's the thing with this backfield. And that's why I like Irving more, because there's so many other variables. I mean,
well, here's the thing.
Herbert is still a pretty decent back.
This coaching staff just doesn't play Herbert though. Trashman, they don't want to. And here's the thing: eventually, they're going to come to their senses and realize what I've DeAndre Swift looks like he's dead to the world, man. He looks like he stinks. Roschon Johnson gets in there, like he gives you a little bit of juice, man. 5 targets, 12 touches, 62 total yards, only 37% of snaps. Roschon's good.
I don't dislike Roschon. I just think Irving's in a better position.
that's an offense that can't help but be on the ascent. I know it's like still doesn't look great, but Caleb Williams actually finally put up some yards this week. I don't know. I mean, I guess the way that I'm talking about it, both of them. I mean, they both need to be owned. Roschon Johnson, Bucky Irving, but I think I'm almost like
I can get behind Bucky over Roschon.
I'm almost thinking, do we need to get both those guys over Braelon Allen?
No.
Braelon
Allen's the number
Braelon Allen's going to get the touches regardless.
Yeah, he's going to get the touches regardless.
Standalone value.
Is he the number one? Is he the number one handcuff in football?
Well, people have been asking if they can drop Blake Corum. I always thought Corum was going to be one of the top ones, but like I think that's kind of a little bit of a mystery right now. I'm still of the opinion that if anything happened to Kyron Williams, it would just be Corum in there because he's like his doppelganger. And
but they like Ronnie though. So
Ronnie Rivers is in there with this like fake punt stuff. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I think he's more of a. I think Kyron Williams. Yeah, but Corum could be good.
Yeah, no kidding. But
Corum is good.
As far as the offense goes, like we know they want to lean on Breece Hall. Like we know they would lean on. It doesn't matter. But I still don't think I wouldn't roster Roschon or Bucky over Braelon.
I think it's close
because I'm not gonna start Roschon tomorrow. I'm not gonna start him next week. Like I'm gonna need to see something, but I'm not just gonna go, oh, he had scored me 8 points. Like I'm gonna go plug him into my roster. Like unless I'm completely destroyed in health, then I'm probably not gonna do that. Bucky, I can get there. I think we do move Bucky ahead of Roschon in the pecking order. But Braelon is like established in this offense, the trust from Rodgers is number one for me. Like he's a rookie who's earned a trust from Aaron Rodgers, who's clearly getting a pretty large split of this backfield for some reason this early in the season.
Which one of these? All right, but how about this thought experiment? Which one of these running backs can take over their backfield without an injury to the starter?
None of them.
Bucky Irving.
They're not going to give him the 100%. They're not going to give him the 80% that Rashad saw last year. They're just not.
What about Roschon? DeAndre Swift looks like he stinks. Roschon looked good last week.
I don't think you can bench. I don't think they have the stones to bench DeAndre Swift. That takes a lot of stones.
I mean, there have been stints where they've given Roschon run before too. It's just like we thought he was going to get that position last year, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think they see something different in him now?
I mean, he's healthy. He should be healthy, right? Last year he wasn't healthy, but
it's just. I mean, I'm going after Roschon on waivers this week. Bucky Irving's not available in any of my leagues anyway, and neither is Braelon Allen. But Roschon is, and I'm going to go get him. Like I don't think I need to spend more than 15%. So. That's where I'm on that. What about Chuba, Trashman? You actually had Chuba as your favorite one coming in on the cheat sheet.
I mean, he went off this week. I mean, Jonathan Brooks, yeah, he's going to, peek his head out eventually. But up until that point, Hubbard is the clear number one.
Do you guys hate watching Hubbard's running style as much as I do?
I love it.
No,
really? Yeah. Gets me on edge. What do you like?
He's just a straight line guy.
I always feel like he's just like, dude, you're about to get knocked to smithereens.
I don't think it's a great running style, but I do enjoy watching just because it's.
Yeah, and that offense is a different offense.
Kyle Gregory in the chat asking. Thanks to almost 400 of you guys watching across X and Facebook and YouTube right now, man. We really appreciate y'all. If you could, please remember to like the show, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a whole ton. Kyle Gregory's asking, drop Lauby for Roschon and Dynasty. Sure. Right?
I have no allegiance to Lauby.
Speaking of Raiders, are you guys picking up Alexander Mattison this week? If you need deep bench stuff?
I don't want any part of any of that.
That offense is
because your teams are too good. What about people whose teams are bad?
Why do you?
I mean, you can. I don't think he's a really high waiver priority. I'd rather have one of these other guys.
I'd rather take an athlete. Like I told you just last week, like half the dudes, like I would rather, on the waiver wire cheat sheet, I'd rather drop down a couple guys and take the guy that I know is an athlete that thrust into a spot with 4 carries could go boomtown, go 45, 50 yards and earn a bigger role rather than go Alexander Mattison. Let me bet on this guy catching 4 footballs for 23 and scoring a touchdown. Like this team's not going to be competitive enough to like worry like, oh, we got to take Zamir out because, Alexander Mattison is going to help us win this game. Like they're going to be getting beat and they want to, this is like Chuba last year, right? They want to know that Zamir's good. So he's probably going to end the year with 800 to 1,000 yards. Not saying it's going to be good yards for fantasy football, but they're going to force him to football. That's what Antonio Pierce told us he was going to do. I still believe that that's what's going to end up happening.
I hate Antonio Pierce. What a jerk. This guy. It's like we had guys out here making business decisions, all this stuff. I was like, I tweeted, man, what about your business decision not to even get your team ready for this team not being led by Bryce Young anymore? That was a team that just didn't show up, man.
That was one of the biggest layups in Circa Millions history that we could have taken, and it was
the first thing that I brought up last week, and I just got some reason got it
faded away from it.
Some reason got off it. All right, Trashman, let's get to the game here. We've had people ask questions. Can you drop him? There's some hard ones this week that people have already asked. Okay, can you drop him? Can you drop him? Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen. Now you can drop him. I mean,
I wouldn't.
This person. Well, he's out. He's out. Like he got hurt. He got was it a hamstring he pulled up on? It was on the touchdown.
I mean,
like, he's hurt. Like I think did they send him to IR? Maybe they didn't send him to IR, but they say he's going to miss time. Cody, are you looking that up?
I saw it was at least a couple of weeks. I did not see. Yeah, they put him on IR and they brought up Jalen. They brought up our boy Jalen Coker from the Shrine Bowl.
He's on IR. By the time he comes back, they might be Andy Dalton.
I mean, that's fine then. Yeah, if you got a Jennings available or somebody who's got a consistent role.
Oh, hold on. Look, this guy's a question. I have waiver priority number 2, Chuba Hubbard or Deontay Johnson. Oh,
Deontay just had a career game.
I would pick up Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
But I just look. But I'm going to follow this up by saying this: the clock's going to strike midnight on Andy Dalton, and he's going to turn back into a pumpkin at some point. And we'll probably end up getting Bryce Young back at some point.
Are you going to say the same thing about Sam Darnold and Geno Smith and like?
No, I'm not going to say the same thing about Darnold because
Dalton's the only guy in the NFL this year who's thrown for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, he showed us something at least. Like,
well, right, but Kevin, I just like these other guys are attached to people that I've over time begun to really believe in as far as their ability to work with quarterbacks and stuff.
And
I guess Canales is kind of like that, but he didn't do a good job with Young.
Well, Bryce, I mean, you could argue Bryce was already broken, to be honest.
I don't think Bryce is broken.
Okay.
Broken in that scheme, just like Sam Darnold was broken in the Jet scheme. I'm not saying he's broken as a human. I'm saying he's broken in the scheme. Like he's not.
I mean, the Panthers have a long history of misusing talent,
including Sam Darnold,
Blake Corum,
yeah,
Adonai Mitchell,
yeah.
All right, this is where it gets really hard. Keenan Allen,
no.
Zamir White,
no.
Javonte Williams,
no.
Can't play him.
Yeah, but he still might be the best back on that team. We don't know.
Mark Andrews.
No, the tight end landscape is too barren to do that, to drop him outright.
The dude's running like sub 20 routes and stuff.
Yeah.
Do we get Tyler Beatty on this list?
Nobody in that receiving core are no one in that pass catching group is doing great right now.
We have who on this list?
Beatty.
I think I saw Beatty on there. Is he not on there?
Yeah, he's on here.
Okay. Jaylen Warren.
No.
Getting an MRI.
So is Najee, though, right? Najee's got his arm in a sling.
He's got his arm in a sling. Ezekiel Elliott.
No.
No, what's that laugh for, Cody?
He's a donk.
Trashman, at this point, can we be safely dropping Gus Edwards?
Yeah.
This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.